think the whole genre of like rock and metal is like pretty much the spirit of it is just completely dead. If you go to a show now, a lot of the time it's just some guy with like fucking a buzz cut with like a neck tattoo, standing like this the whole time, playing like, you know, really boring stuff, and it's always the same stuff, really uninspired, and everyone's standing completely still, wearing plain black t-shirts, you know everything, you know what you're gonna expect. And I don't know, when I got into metal, when I got into rock, the whole thing that appealed to me was like the craziness about it. Like, say with Deep Purple, you think about their music, but you also think about like Richie Blackmore blowing up his amp with a smoke bomb and like smashing stuff. And just like the craziest stories behind it. That's like, to me, that's like 50% of the thing. Like, there's also the music, but there's also the kind of lore and the characters. Same with like Ozzy and Sabbath. Like, you think about their music, but you also think about, you know, like the wild Ozzy stories and stuff, and you just don't get that anymore. You just get, it's mainly just focused on perfect music and no mistakes and stuff, and you know, everything recorded with like DI and click track or whatever. I sound like an old person or something, but I just think it was like the actual soul of all the music is just completely gone. And I don't know, I would rather go to a show and like it just be crazy and like someone just like, you know, throwing their guitar bell on stage and stuff like that, than like someone standing still, and maybe the music is like objectively more perfect, but that's never what it was about anyway. And I think that's why like the music's just so dead, because it doesn't have any people like that anymore, really. I think like the whole point of the music is, you know, to not conform and stuff, so the fact that it's became so like rigid, and it's like, it's called like laws basically at this point, it just kind of ruins it. I feel like it's the same with like guitar in general as well. Like, it got to like the certain era where it was like the 80s, like the shred era, and everyone was starting to, you know, focus on playing like really perfectly and faster than everyone and better than everyone. It almost became a competition, and that was like, that was a good era because it was just interesting. Like, people were pushing things, but I think now like people just see it as, well, if I'm better than a certain guitar player, then that means objectively it's more interesting, the music's more interesting. But that's just it views it wrong, because like, I don't know, like when you see like Eddie Van Halen play, it's not really like perfect, but it's, I don't, there's not really a way to describe it. It's, I feel like it's just to do with like his intention behind it, and like the stories and the actual music, rather than if he's playing in perfect time or if he's doing something like crazy. I think people miss like something there. They just think it's, well, if I'm better than him at this, then, because it's not a sport, you know. Like, you can be more technical than someone, but it doesn't mean you're better than them, if you get what I mean. And I don't know, I think that also ruins the whole feel of it. Like, I think people are scared to mess up or experiment. I mean, if you watch like clips of Hendrix, like there's so many like clips of him like being out of tune and like messing things up and stuff. It doesn't mean he's a bad player. It's just like the style, you know. And I'm not trying to like put other people down or like rant or anything. I kind of just, I'm just saying what I, you know, think about things. It's the same as like how music's produced now. To me, it just sounds awful. Like, the modern production, I don't know what it is about it. I always think like the drums just sound so like weird and kind of fake. Like, they sound like explosion sound effects when they hit the cymbal. Like, to me it just sounds awful. Like, there was a certain like sweet spot between like, I don't know, maybe the 50s to the 90s, where like it just sounded perfect. Like the 80s, 70s kind of era, where like the recording was just perfect. And I know it's obviously easier to record things now and technically better quality, but when everything's perfect quality, it means everything sounds the same, so it's not as interesting. Like, I like when I listen to like an old song and it sounds a little bit crap, but like in a good way, because which way just adds to the song. I'm not really saying that, you know, people making music should be lazy and like, you know, not try to be perfect about things, because I don't know, that's just the type of music you want to make. If you want to make it like that, and I think that's fine. But I don't know, I think there's a lot of, like, a lot of the spirit is gone, like, with a lot of metal bands, because they've got, like, their uniforms and, you know, their strict skills they need to play, and these, like, rows they have to go by, and it's just really boring, and I think that's why it's so dead right now. Obviously there's a lot of good bands out there, but I mean, an example is Airborne, the band. I've not actually seen them live, my friends saw them, but I've seen clips of them and they're just like going crazy. And I mean, obviously not every band has to do that, because then that would, you know, I'd be ranting about that. But I think like stuff like that is way more interesting than what someone can play. It's like corporate metal. I just think we need more people, you know, like Lemmy or Ozzy and stuff, who just, I don't know, they're just almost characters. Like, if you like met Lemmy in real life, well, obviously he's dead, but it just seems like a character, or like someone from a movie. It doesn't seem real. Obviously not, you know, I don't think everyone should be like Lemmy in the sense that they're like, you know, alcoholics and drug addicts, but I don't know, it's not very interesting right now, and I think that's why no one's interested in it. So if you're playing, like, I don't know, a live show at some point, and I don't know, maybe you notice that you're standing too still, and you're, you know, maybe you're something like that, but then, like, I'd say just do something like random, like that you feel like doing. Like, I don't know, just do something for your guitar, or I don't know, anything. I mean, if people in the crowd see that you're having a good time, that lets them have a good time. If they see that you're, you know, completely still, then it just throws you off and makes you not really interested. But like, even if you're playing like the worst song ever, and like you're playing terribly, if everyone will tell you you're having a good time on stage and we're going crazy. Like Kiss, for example, I don't think many people, well, they do have good songs in my opinion, but I think they'd be a lot smaller if they didn't have the whole makeup and like the whole stage thing. Like if they were just a couple guys standing still playing music, I think it would be a lot less interesting. One of the reasons I always loved Pantera was just because of their stage shows, like, because their music is obviously amazing, but when you see the videos of them, they're just literally sprinting on stage, and they're still playing really well as well, and it's just like, it's fun to watch. I think that's where, like, that's the aspect that's missing in like music now. It's to focus on this perfect side, but it needs like the balance of like really good music, skilled music, but also being more free rather than overly on this side. Because I mean, you get this side, and this side's, you know, really boring, I think. And then if you go too far on this side, then it's just, you know, it's terrible. It's just. And last thing, I guess it's like an example, to Backdoor Man by The Doors, and like listen to like the first 30 seconds and just like listen to Jim Morrison. Yeah. And like, if you really focus on it, it's kind of funny, but like, you wouldn't hear that in a song now. Like, he's just making random noises, and you can't like learn that anywhere. It's just what it is, and it's, you know, it's just random. Or another example is Running with the Devil by Van Halen. If you listen to the isolated vocals, funny, because he just sounds so stupid. He's just like yelling random stuff. Woo! But it's way more interesting than like if it was like, you know, did 100 takes, and you can tell it's like live pretty much, and I don't know, it's got more character to it. Anyway, my rant is over.